What are you?
Aquarius.
You're Aquarius? I'm Sagittarius, I think. There are people that are really into that shit, like astrology.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
They're like, oh, you're a Pisces, so you're a hoe. Like,
yeah.
Like, yeah.
I can't fuck with you. Just like,
no, yeah, some girls are like really, and guys.
I mean, yeah, like people in general.
Yeah.
I mean, Mexicans are into that a lot. Like,
How?
you never notice, like every show, like Ventaneando or like Gordo del Flaca, they have like a little spot for astrology. There's like a lady that's like, but like Walter Mercado.
Yeah,
bro,
that
like,
guy.
You know?
Yeah, that dude used to scare me actually, because like when he would come on TV, it was always really dark. Like when he would come on TV, and I mean, rest in peace. But he looked kind of creepy. Like as a kid, like he looks like a dark wizard or some shit.
I was at a hard time. I was like, I saw him like, it's Juan Gabriel Walter, you know. I was like, they have the same attire. They have like this like
real
robe,
flashy. Yeah.
And then they have like a stance to them, and they have like the hair kind of like to the side.
And it's funny because like my mom wouldn't let me wear skulls and stuff when I was a kid because she thought it was like the devil or like evil shit. But then they're over here like with el huevo and like believing in all this weird shit. I'm like, ain't that the same shit? What is up, everybody? Welcome back to CharroBeans podcast, a Mariachi podcast.
What's up, you guys?
Yeah, this is Sammy, and this is
Victor.
And if this is your first episode,
hi, my name is Victor.
Hi. Right, just fucking go right up into it. If this is your first episode, welcome to CharroBeans podcast, and this is a podcast where we talk about mariachi and things, and we just kind of go into it. We're both mariachis, and we're just kind of talking. Now, this is the first episode back from, I guess, back into normality. Last week we were in El Paso. We released an episode where it was just...
was that last week?
Yeah. It was last week. We were in a
Feels
different
like a long
town.
time
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of went kind of quick.
I'm tired.
You're tired?
For shit.
No, it's just it feels like we're going back to normal now because now we have an actual episode. We're recording an actual episode, so we're gonna get back into the rhythm of things. It was a nice experience to go out there. Again, I want to thank Hector for thinking of us to go out there to El Paso. I had never been there other than like just de pasada. Like,
yeah, me too.
Yeah, but I'd never actually been in the town.
That's why they call it El Paso, yeah.
You're just paseando.
Don't say that. But yeah.
Right. But it was a cool town. A lot of the houses are made of stucco. Do you remember what stucco is? Yeah, it's like the cement on the side. Well, they all look like cakes. Like all the houses there looks like cakes. And then it was just it was a different vibe for sure over there than over here. It was very flat, except for the big ass mountains in the background.
No más.
No, I meant like when we were driving, like on the roads and stuff. Like here, like we live in like I guess hill country, so everything's always going up and down. Like all of Fort Worth, I don't know if you noticed, like there's always hills everywhere.
Even in Northside hill. Northside is a hill.
Right, but I'm saying like you're always going up and down as opposed to like in El Paso. Did you notice everything was just very flat land?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we never went up or down. Like we just kind of stayed super duper flat everywhere.
Cool.
So it's completely different than over here for sure. Like I don't know what it is. Like when you go to a new city, every city has like a different vibe. Like every time I have gone somewhere, like California or I went to Seattle or New Mexico, everything just feels different.
What's very different? The one that's stuck in my mind is very different. It's just New York.
Oh, you went to New York.
Yeah, New York is very different.
How? Did you go when it was
busy.
cold?
No.
What month?
I went like August.
Oh, so
I
it's not cold.
I just fresco.
Like, what was the coldest it got over there where you were?
No, I it was a long time ago. But it was just very busy, you know. People were always walking everywhere. Like they walked like they had something to do.
Well, yeah,
like
it's
all
New
the
York.
time. I don't know.
It's
my first time there.
Yeah. And you guys played at Carnegie Hall,
Yeah.
right? I'm sorry if I offend anybody, but why is that place important, or why is it a big place?
I think it's just like a very
famous venue.
Yeah, like
is that what
it's old enough where like a lot of people have played in there. Maybe. Also, something about the acoustics in there are really good.
How did it feel when you played there?
No, I just remember they're like I don't know. I was like what, junior?
Yeah, I mean that was recent-ish.
Recent. That was like 2014.
Okay, you can't remember 7 years ago?
Can you?
2014? Yeah, I was in college. I was probably in Houston at the time. Yeah, it was my sophomore year.
In July?
Yeah, well, I went to the Houston Rodeo. Oh, that was in March. In August, I was starting my sophomore year in college. Yeah, I have a very weird memory. I can either remember nothing whatsoever, or I can remember every single detail. There's no in between.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So like, if you ask me about a specific time, I'll either be like, "Oh, dude, I don't know." Especially if it's recent. Like if it's recent, I'm like, yeah. I like when we're doing these episodes. I'm like, what did we do last week? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. It takes me a while to process. But then like you asked me about something like 10 years ago. Like, oh yeah, you were wearing like a blue shirt. We had just come back from like CC's and we were heading towards school or something like that. But I'll give you every detail. It's very weird. I don't know, dude.
Missing. Well, I don't remember much. Just remember they were like, don't take pictures in there.
You couldn't take any pictures?
No.
Then how do people know you were in there?
I took a picture.
You did?
Yeah. It was like my cover picture for a while. It was just like the harp and like you see like all the things.
The seats?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty cool.
I'm gonna report that image so that people in New York are like, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Come all the way to Fort Worth.
Yeah, I don't know what you're gonna do. Come to Fort Worth.
They're like, bet.
I don't know. Can you imagine? Like they actually find me. Yeah. I'm like in the middle of the gig. They just like tackle me down.
Yeah. And Arturo's just like, hey, Sammy, so can you play bass? I'm
yeah.
Like, no, pues, all right. And Victor's all getting pummeled, and I'm like, hey, wait, ¿me lo prestas? And then I get the guitarra, and I'm like, ¿es Morales?
Wow. I'm like, see?
Anyway, El Paso was a good experience. It was our first time like getting to talk to someone outside of this room, our little studio here. So it was kind of cool to interact with a lot of students and the people that came up to us. Thank you. A lot of people took pictures with us too, which feels weird sometimes because I'm like,
is it?
Yeah, like they walk up to you and they're like, "Can I take a picture?" And I'm like, "Why? Like, what did we do?" You know? But it was cool. Students were digging it. My favorite part was where we were just kind of jamming for a while. You don't like that part? Well, you have to explain what happened.
Exactly, I had to explain. I love that video where I'm like, es que no entiendo, es que it's different, like I'm like I have an excuse why it sounds like shit, like like.
It's because Victor had mentioned to what was his name? It was David,
the
guy with the harp.
Yeah,
I'm sorry if I butchered your name, but I think it was David. He has his own little store there, and because the first day we just kind of walked around.
Things.
We kind of just walked around, which was funny because when we were walking around, I had this sense of like all these people would turn around and look at us, and they're like, "Who are these guys?" Because I was going around filming, like with my camera, and then people would just kind of turn around. And they're like in class, learning from their teachers, and then here comes in these two guys that are just like filming everything, and they're all like, "Do I have to sign like a media release form?"
Right?
But no, it was funny because like. I felt like for a while maybe people didn't think that we knew how to play an instrument. So then like we went to one of those little music shops that they usually have, at a conference and stuff, and we bought a lot of stuff from the vendors there. And one of them, I think I mentioned that you played harp, and then the next day he brought because he had said he plays harp, right?
Yeah.
So he brings his harp, and I didn't even realize this until you said it, but I didn't realize that you could get different colors on the strings for a harp.
Yeah.
Like, I guess the one you have has a different color.
Some people call it as una codificación. It's basically like a code, so you can find where you're at.
Yeah, it's like a key. Like for example, yours you have blue and red.
Yeah.
Strings.
I think blues are C's and F's are F's, And reds are Fs.
Reds are Fs. And on this one, what was it? Backwards?
Yeah. So C's were red and F's were blue.
So you couldn't. That's what I was. Because for a while you were just kind of playing, and then you told me like, yeah, it's because they're backwards, and I was like, okay, because I didn't understand what that meant. But then when you told me, I was like, oh, so you're just going off of like your memory,
Yeah.
and that's what you said. So when you were just kind of playing around, there was times where you just kind of like would jump around. You're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, you know. And I didn't realize that till after, and I was over here just like having fun, and you're over here like struggling. You're like,
Yeah, I was sweating. I was like, and I'm not that good at, because there's harp players that just pick them up and they don't care because they practice that much, you know.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
practice,
yeah.
And I haven't picked it up in months since like Boyo's.
Oh, you took your
away
harp out
party.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was in Juarez.
I
Yeah.
haven't played it since then. So that's what, July.
So July, August, September, October, like 3 months. Yeah. Oh shit.
So I feel bad when he showed up with it because I'm like, this guy's expecting like me to be like good, you know.
Yeah. This guy's expecting a certain level of
Yeah.
expertise, and you're all like, shit, here we fucking go.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm like, fuck. Just any modo, you know. I
Yeah.
have to try my best.
But I mean, it sounded good. I mean, like people were responding to it because it was funny because we were just kind of playing around, and you know, I had a vihuela, you had the harp,
You had
and
a
then
weird vihuela. You had that. It looked like a quinto.
yeah, it was JD Salazar's vihuela, which was very different. I never played a vihuela like this. It was like a toy almost. Like, you think of a ukulele where it's flat on the back, but it's a vihuela, 5 strings, and it has clavijas. And it has
metal frets.
metal frets, yeah. But it's smaller than a regular vihuela. Like, it was such a weird instrument. But by the end, I wanted to steal it because it was cool. Like, it was a cool instrument. Like, it seems like the type of, I don't know if you do this, but like, I'll just be like sitting there watching TV or doing something, and I see an instrument, so I just end up like just putting it in my lap, and I'm just kind of like fidgeting with it. It's almost like oh, you remember the fidget spinners? Everybody was doing those because like según they relieve stress, but they, like sometimes you just want to mess with something. That's why I bite my pens. Actually, I bite all the pens that I have, like the tip.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
What the fuck?
I just got off topic, but yeah, like I'll get pens, and I guess it's just a habit. Like, I'll look at it, and if it's a brand new one, I'll just look at it, and I'm like, I know as soon as I start it once, like it's screwed. Like, I'm gonna end up biting it over and over again. And sure enough, you know, I end up like biting it off. I'm really bad at that. How did I get on that?
The vihuela.
The vihuela. Anyway, yeah, the vihuela. It was very different than I guess you would expect, but it was almost like a toy. So it felt like one of those things I could just like kind of fidget with, and I could just play with it and just jam with it. So it was actually pretty fun to play along with the harp. So that's kind of what we were doing, just kind of playing around. And like the students would walk out. Some students would walk out, go to the bathroom, and just this and that. And while you were playing and stuff, you know, they would take out video. Or like they would take out their phones and start shooting video, and it was funny because it was like I could like see it in their faces, like, oh, they play music too. Because when they introduced us, they were just like the CharroBeans, you know, podcasters. So if anything, they were just probably, oh, these guys like do a podcast, you know.
I feel like we look like the Geek Squad.
The Geek Squad.
Is that what they're called from Best Buy?
Yeah, the
because
Geek
we
Squad.
had like these bags, like with laptop bags. And
They
stuff.
thought we were the IT guys.
Yeah, that's what I feel. That's what we looked like.
Yeah, because I was
Because
carrying.
I took my laptop to do homework because I'm still in school.
Yeah.
And you brought like your stuff to like edit.
Yeah,
Right.
I had my laptop on me. I had, you know, cables, extra batteries. I had all this stuff in a bag. So like all of my whole life was in that bag,
Yeah.
you know. So I was just walking around with it. So yeah, it's very true. We're probably walking in. They're like, oh, the IT guys are here. You know? But no, it was cool. You know, they came out and they saw that we actually played music, and then we gave our presentation, which was super cool. Because you know they seemed to respond to it. You could tell that they were more on their. I guess you could say they're not super seasoned in mariachi just yet. Like they're
young.
They're
were
still
from
young,
Middle
you know.
school and elementary for the most part.
Yeah, and even the ones in high school, you know, you can see that there are some that are really getting into the music, and that's what I like to see. You know, when because I mean we kind of start off like that. I think when I think back to my freshman, sophomore, junior year, I still didn't really like listen to mariachi all that much. You know, the only music I would really process or play was whatever, you know, my director gave me. But I mean, as far as like it becoming a big part of my life, to be honest, it wasn't there yet in high school. I think it was really after maybe my senior year into college and going out and gigging. That's when it really became like a really big part of my life. I don't know about you, but I mean at this point, like it takes up a lot of my week.
Yeah.
Mariachi in general. So it was cool. Just to kind of give I guess the younger generation a platform to see our platform and see kind of like how they feel about it, and then just kind of inspire them to keep going. Because at the same time, they're really the future, bro. It's not me anymore. It's not. No, you maybe you.
Nah.
Like nah, vale man.
I'm trying to dip. You know what I'm saying?
It was really cool though. It was funny too when we got there because we didn't know there would be a driver to pick us up at the airport. Like we got there to the airport in El Paso, walked around, and we're like, okay, now what? And I had texted Hector, the guy who facilitated this whole thing to get us out there. We got there by plane. I walked out and I texted on the plane. I texted him. I was like, hey, like we're here. We just landed, and he's like, good. And I'm like, like now what? And then we ended up going to we walked down to like towards the exit, and I saw someone carrying the El Paso
flyer or
the flag
flyer.
It was a flyer. It was a flyer for the event. So like I just kind of like figured like, is that for us? Because the only time I've ever seen that is like on movies where there's like a dude waiting there for like someone and their last name is on there, and you walk up to them and they take you somewhere. So I hadn't experienced that, so I just like thought, like since I saw the poster, I was like, by any chance is that for us? And he just kind of looks at us and he's like, CharroBeans? And we're like, yeah, that's us. It was funny. He's like, I didn't know what to expect, like 2 beans. I was like, well, yeah, 2 beans. Yeah. And it was just funny. He was really cool with us. We had lots of nice talks with him, and they didn't want to give us a hotel because what was it? They couldn't find our name.
Yeah. Well, it's because they just dropped us off
at the hotel,
and I started walking into a hotel, and I'm like, now what?
Now what do we do?
And then I went back, and sure enough, we kind of told like our driver like, hey, like,
what do we do?
Yeah. And they're like, oh, all right, you haven't checked in. Like,
yeah, we
give
haven't.
them your last names or your names, and then they should find your room.
Yeah.
And we went in there. We're like, hey, man, it's like Victor Estrada.
And Sammy Ramirez. We're here to check in.
She's like, nope.
You guys aren't on the list. Sorry. And I'm like, sir, can you help?
Poor guy. He was telling us he hadn't slept since
all
like
day.
5 a.m.
He was telling us that he went and basically picked up everybody. He had to pick up Ellas, Chuy Hernandez, Chuy Guzman, Santiago. He was picking up Adolfo. He was picking up everybody all day. Yeah. So like, imagine 5 a.m. and you're just picking up people from the airport.
Because when I go home and then these 2 beans are like, we don't have a room.
We don't have a room. Can you help us?
So he gets out the car.
It's funny because he had the Bluetooth too, so he was like talking, and I couldn't tell because he had it on the other ear, so I couldn't tell if he was talking to us or them or who, So I was just like, "I'm sorry, sir. Like, you can go home if you want. We'll settle this,
Yeah.
And it ended up being that they booked us under the name CharroBeans, not individually. So that was the issue. We ended up getting. Oh, they didn't want to give us a suite.
Right, because the only thing they had right now was a suite.
Yeah, we had booked a room, but they sold it.
Yeah.
So they double booked and gave it to someone else. So the only 2 hotel rooms left at that place were suites. So I was like, oh, hell yeah, we're going to have a jacuzzi in there or something. Because that happened to me and my wife. Never mind. I can't go too far into detail.
Huh?
Nothing. Anyway, they had 2 suites available. So we were like, all right, well, I guess just give us a suite. I mean, you promised us a room, but they were like, let me talk to my manager. Like, they were doing the most to not give us a suite. Like, because they had said that I think our original room was like $90 a night, and these were like $220 a night. So I was just thinking like, so we getting a suite or what? Because like we need a room, Finally, they gave us like one of them, or I don't
It
even
didn't
know
feel
at
like
the
a
end.
suite, to be honest.
It didn't feel like a suite. It was
Yeah.
only a king size bed for me and Victor. We each slept on each side.
Right,
I was like, no funny
clarified.
business. You know?
We had we built a wall between each.
A wall of pillows.
Yeah.
So when I woke up, I'm like hugging the pillows.
Yeah.
I'm like, Victor. Oh, damn.
I'm like brushing my teeth watching you like SMH.
Yeah. So, but it was fun. There was a lot. We got to interact with a lot of people. Shout out to everybody who was there. It was cool to see all these people again, old friends, new friends, and just to inspire the generation, this coming generation, if we could. If not, if anything, we had fun just jamming. They wanted us to. The students during the presentation, they were like, I guess they had heard us playing, and so are like, can y'all play for us? And they had told us that they were jamming out in the cafeteria, so we headed over there. You had to carry the harp all the way over there. Was it heavy? No.
Not heavy.
Oh yeah, Victor's buff. I forgot.
Chingado.
And we went over there. We got to play for them. That people. I mean, the kids there and the students there seemed to respond well to that. They were having fun. They were singing along. You know, I like seeing that shit, man. It's super fun, man, to see people like really get into the music. Because that's what to be honest, this is what I like enjoy about all those conferences. Like, I haven't gone to a lot of them, but I went to Las Cruces, to the Las Cruces one. I also went to the one in Albuquerque and all of those, where everybody just joins in at night and then starts jamming. Like, that's fun for me, man. I think that's so chill.
Mm.
But it was a great experience. Super awesome. Hope to do it again one day. And yeah, man. But we did miss 2 days from playing because of that. We didn't do the plantas that week. It's funny because I was when we told our boss that we weren't going, like he was really losing like the whole group, like
yeah,
because like everybody missed those days. I mean, you and me were gone. He didn't go on Friday. Our boss. Saul didn't go because he had orchestra things. Boyles in Mexico.
I think we're just on mic. That was like,
yeah, Don Luis has his church duties.
Yeah.
So like the only person in there was Don Mike. He shows up and he's like, "Who are you? Who are you people?"
Yeah, pretty much.
He's just looking around like these aren't the boys.
No, he was having fun.
Yeah, I mean Don Mike's a trooper, bro. Don Mike, our trumpet player, is a trooper. Like, I forget that he's he's not the oldest. Don Luis is. He's second oldest in the group, but he just grinds, man. He's like a straight up Mexican hardworking father. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he works at this like a what is it?
He's a deliverer.
No, he works for this restaurant called Itzi's. Yeah, but he's a driver / he says sometimes they take the food to like the Mavericks and the Rangers and all these professional teams. It's crazy how like he talks about it so casually. He's like, yeah, I siempre miramos a los Mavs and this and that. También grandotes. And we're just like, damn, like he's just really like living life, dude.
So just watching him live, you're like, you what?
Yeah. Saul's a big Mavs fan, so he's probably
get me in there, bro. Like,
yeah. Saul's just punching the air. He's like, you met Luca? He's like, yeah, he's a cool cat.
Yeah.
He's like, he said he likes my tacos. No. But yeah, he's just a hardworking man, dude. Like I remember gigs where the Mike is like, he would work like on Sundays. I remember specifically one day where we played all freaking night, like on a Saturday, all day and all night. And then he was going to go to work on Sunday morning.
Like at 4?
Like at 4 in the morning. Were you there?
Yeah.
And then we were like at a gas station. It was like 2, 3 in the morning. And it was just telling Arturo like, hey, like, are we almost done? Because like, I got to clock in. Like, I'm like, shit, man. All I could think about is about going home, taking this damn traje off and, just going to sleep. But, like, no, Mike is out here grinding, dude. Like, he was going to go right into work. He's a big man. Even though he's not a big man, he's a big man. You know what I mean? Like, that's responsibility.
Yeah, he does a lot.
And he's got kids. He has a wife.
I mean, they're all grown up. Like I said, I think that he introduced us to the smaller one.
The small one?
The younger one. Because two of his daughters were at the last gig we played for his family.
Right.
And
His wife was
And they're
there.
like done with like school and stuff.
His
They're,
son
like,
was there, who's my
yeah.
age apparently. Damn, man. Telling
So-
you, like I forget that he's
they're all grown up. He's done. He's like, I'm done.
now he's
like,
just making paper, bro.
Yeah.
You know, one day he's just gonna like retire and he's just gonna fucking chill,
he's
dude.
gonna leave us.
He just reminds me of like Stanley. You know what I mean? Because he was Stanley from The Office.
Yeah.
You know how he's like it's like
He's just
4 o'clock.
working, Yeah.
Yeah, he works. 4 o'clock hits. He's like,
Yeah.
all right, I'll see you guys.
Yeah.
Because that's how he is after the plantas.
Yeah.
Like as soon as he sees that we're done with talon, he's like, "I quedó." Okay. Starts taking out the trumpet. You know, he cleans it off real quick. Takes off the mouthpiece. Closes his case, which looks like a suitcase, by the way. So he looks like he's just carrying like a suitcase. You know. He's like, I know them mañana. He starts saludando todo. And then like as he's walking, I was like, ¿A qué horas, hijo? ¿A qué horas mañana?
Yeah.
And then he asks, we're like, no, pues mañana como a las 5, don. Ya está. And then he just like leaves. Like,
Yeah.
that fool is like on his schedule. He's just like, he knows what the fuck is up. Shout out to them,
Yeah.
dude.
He's coming back on Thursdays.
Yeah, and he's coming back on Thursdays because now he has more time. Like he had stopped going on Thursdays because he didn't have time
He was
to
putting
go.
overtime.
Yeah,
was doing, like,
exactly.
12-hour shifts, apparently.
Yeah, dude, and he's still going out to play mariachi. Like, man,
He's like, this guy don't stop.
it really does. He is a workhorse. You know what I mean? He's a workhorse. Anyway, so he was the only one left from the group. So when we returned on that Saturday, we were able to come back from El Paso Friday night. So they gigged and they did all this stuff, you know. Somehow Arturo managed, you know, to put the group together, you know, to gig and stuff. A lot of ringers and stuff, but we ended up being back by Saturday, so the group kind of got reinforcements at that point. We were able to gig, and we went to Wichita Falls.
Yeah.
At some church.
Right.
And when we got there was ambulances and fire trucks.
Yeah. Someone fainted, I think. Or
Is that
I think one of their
confirmed?
like grandparents.
Sources confirmed
Like, era
that?
un señor de edad. Era un señor, I think.
But someone like legit passed out.
Yeah, someone was not having a good time.
Oh. Because when we got there, we were supposed to start like at
12?
1:30?
12, no?
No, we
12:30.
got there early.
12:30, no?
12:30 or 1?
Yeah, because we met like at 10.
Early. Yeah, I remember getting there like yeah, it was early. And we ended up going to Wichita Falls. But when we got there, well, it was at 1. It was from 1 to 2. So we got there like at 12:30. We got there early. So we started walking towards the place and we just see like everybody from the wedding party was out there, and there was like a fire truck and an ambulance and a cop. We're just like,
Yeah.
we're still getting paid though, right? Because you know, we made the drive over here, you know. We walked in, we played the misa without a hitch. It was a wedding.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, you still got to get married. Someone passes out.
But what if it's like, let's say you're getting married and
Uh-huh.
like your mom gets like that bad?
Fuck, don't say that.
I'm just saying. I'm giving, because I think it's an older man that.
Well, yeah, right. But like, you already paid, you know.
Dang.
I'm like,
You're
Mom, I'll
Look
be
at
there
el-
later.
you Look at El Padre like it's him, all please. You know, like,
Like, just skip to the I do's.
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell you right now, I'm gonna say I do
Yeah.
right now. You know what? Give me that ring.
Right. You look at your wife, you're like, ¿vas a querer sí o no? All right.
Sí o no?
Just put it in there.
And then at the end, like, when te persinas, you're just like, you know, like the baseball players.
Arturo's gonna be mad.
Yes. But no, yeah. So you get married. No, he doesn't watch anymore. Remember, he said he stayed on season 1. Apparently,
Oh, yeah.
he's like, nah, mommy's way. I haven't watched since season 1. I'm like, wait, it's still season 1, dude. Like, he's like, man, it's just vatos culeros. I'm like, all right, dude, whatever. But yeah. Anyway, so they still got married. The couple still got married. I mean, the party still went on. Because did we play for them? Was
Yeah.
it the same party?
Yeah, it was at that place in the middle of nowhere.
They're always in
There
the
was
middle
like
of nowhere.
there was like no signal in there.
Yes. We played at this place. We only had signal because we found the Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
which worked out okay. we played there 2 hours. Yeah. And it was chill, I guess. I felt bad for the fruit.
What?
They had like a fruit table on the left.
They have a card fruit.
And they had like the sun on it. And nothing is worse than warm fruit. If you're at warm fruit, you know what's so disappointing? Warm watermelon. Or like, no, not even room temperature. Like a warm watermelon. Because I think it just smacks a lot more when it's been in the fridge for like all night. Have you had it before?
I've had watermelon, yeah.
Because like I've had. Oh, you know what else sucks? Watermelon when it's like that. When you get a bad watermelon and it's not like juicy, but it's like grainy. Ugh, I fucking hate that shit, dude.
Kind of like it.
No, it's horrible. Like it feels like you're biting into like
Water.
hairy watermelon.
What?
It's got little stubs on it.
What the fuck? Dude?
I don't know, man. It's just it's not. So that's what I was imagining as I saw the fruit table sizzling in the hot sun. So I was just thinking like I already know all those fruits are all like, you know, wangas. They're not firm anymore. So I felt bad for the fruit, if anything.
I think people were still eating them because we
fruits.
passed by it like casi no había.
And so, that's the thing. They were going up to get fruit, but by the time they got to their plate or to their seat, they were probably disappointed. So I'm telling you, like, nothing worse than warm fruit. It's disgusting. You can argue with me, but don't at me. Right? That doesn't make sense. Anyway, the gig was it was chill.
Yeah.
2 hours. Nothing really happened.
There was a guy that I'm pretty sure had a charro. Because he was singing pretty well.
Yeah, he sang pretty well. He came up to sing like 3 songs.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like, when you can tell when someone knows they can sing. Because they'll walk up, like, real shy, like, you know, and then they're like, because when he walked up, usually you don't expect much from, like, people that want to sing at a party. But he sang well. Like, he had good voice control, you know, and he was singing with his, like, you know, with his chest, you know, he had a good voice. So like as soon as he was done, he was just like he pidió otra, no, like right away. So we were like, oh, okay, like damn, like okay, so you're ready to go, you know, like that's what I mean. Like most of the time, I feel like when they walk up, you don't expect much, but then like they prove themselves and they're like, all right.
I was getting excited when they want to do that.
Why?
Especially when it's an older dude, because I feel like they want to ask like some shit that they don't ask for. Like but more than that, it's just them being head ass, you know?
What do you mean?
Like just singing whatever they want and stuff, like atravesándose. Because that makes me fuck up, and then y'all look at me like I'm the idiot. I'm like, I don't know.
I don't. I'm just like, idiot. No.
Exactly. You know, like I'm just like, fuck. Like I'm trying my best.
No, that's very true.
Do so much.
That's very true.
But no, that guy was very well, and I know he knew about music because the next song he sang was Cuando Vivas Conmigo.
Right.
And he was like, oh, and Sol. I'm like, okay, so he knows about
He
keys.
knows, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, dang, you cool.
Yeah, so he knew his shit. I mean, that's the thing. You don't know if he was just a
he had
singer.
He had a good,
child.
like, I don't know how to describe it, but like a voice from like back then.
Yeah, he had like a vintage voice.
It sounded very like ronco and like very like macizo.
It's because to be honest, I feel like our voices are gonna change even more now.
I think
you get that man
I think
voice.
voices today are different because people get used to a sound system.
You think?
If you imagine back then doing a gig outside,
mm-hmm.
you could never have a sound system because there was no. For one, maybe you had the technology, right? Like una bocina, un micrófono.
Right.
But you don't have the money, you know?
Yeah.
So people like you know, like from Vargas from that time, they had to use their whole voice. You know, they had to fill up a room, and you know they have to do it well.
Like you have to project.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some people really don't understand that.
Compared to today, a lot of people I feel like get used to that.
Relying on the mic.
So when you're in a house, like I've noticed a lot of singers from not to throw shade, you know, because I don't sing.
I'm like, at me, bro.
Like I don't sing. I know I ain't shit, okay, but I'm just saying from what I've seen, like singers from this time, they sing like more quiet. They sing very well, and they have very good like tuning and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Muy buena emoción, expresión, but you can barely hear them sometimes.
Well, you can say like, yeah, you're not an expert, but you can say it as an armonía
No, I'm
player.
just saying it's my observation.
That's what I'm saying. As an armonía player, how many times have we had this issue where they'll start singing and then we get lost because we can't hear them?
Yeah.
So we're like, we kind of dim ourselves down a little bit so I can hear. But like sometimes it really isn't our fault. Like once we start changing, and then like the singer will be like, and I'm like, dude, es que no te oigo. Like, cántale más.
There's very few people that when they sing that their voice stands out. Like Arturo has that.
Yeah, and it'll project. You know what I mean? Like where you can actually hear the changes.
Yeah, like I can hear Arturo from like if singing in the backyard. I can hear him from like across the yard.
From behind, yes, okay, we're behind them, so their voice is being pointed a completely different direction, but we're hearing like the back.
Yeah, they're you can tell he's still from that time where like or he worked with those charros. I mean, he worked with his, like people from back then.
Yeah, I mean his family, they were all mariachi, so he got that experience from that. You know what I mean, like where you weren't reliant on a mic, so that also like grew probably his voice. Because I mean, at that point, you can't rely on anything other than because, like, especially like in a gig full of people and a gig with a lot of musicians, where every person is probably, if they don't know volume control, they're just blaring their instrument,
Mm-hmm.
So if that's a thing, like, it can be tough, and some people don't know that. So like when they're singing, and someone like you and me who has to follow their voice, like está difícil, like as an armonía player, I guess. There's so much wrong that could go wrong with us because, like, we're just providing the rhythm, but there are so many things that are dependent on our rhythms for it to sound like good. So, like, how many times have we played a bolero where like the chord is wrong, and we don't switch, and luego like everybody looks back at you like, we're like, we're not idiots. We promise. We just can't hear, or maybe no me la sé.
Yeah.
But it just sounds so noticeable when it's an armonía like mistake, So we're just playing like boom chun chun boom chun chun, But at the same time, like so much is on our shoulders sometimes that we're just like, damn, we really can't fuck up.
I do feel like some singers like don't know about that.
Oh,
I know like como para los guapangos, a lot of people like I feel like they can come in whenever they want.
Las entradas?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Like, but because I see that in Malagueña all the time.
Mm-hmm.
People like to come like in the middle of what is called como la figura, right? Porque una figura completa es tan rach tara. It's two measures, but it's una figura.
Yeah.
And people come in the middle of that, so we have to repeat it.
Like
we do like a reset. So like we're doing tan rach tara, and then they come in, so we do it again because it's the beginning with that figure. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I mean, like, think of a son. Like that's those two measures together make up that whole phrase. So if someone comes in the middle of that phrase, it breaks up the rhythm. Yeah. And some people don't know that. I mean, how many people have come up to sing, and they start singing?
That's the thing. It's not even like people singing. Some charros or mariachis, whatever you want to call them.
Well, that's what I mean. Like in general, someone just comes up to sing, whether it's someone at a gig or even charros themselves.
Yeah.
Like, que no saben entrar. So then we look like idiots, like over here fumbling around, like, dun, ranch, edit, dun, ranch, edit. I mean, you could even hear that in recordings.
Yeah.
Because back then, I mean, the process of recording was so different that, it was almost like you have one take at this. Like, you record all in one big room and stuff.
But I give that to singers because I know that some of them are not musicians.
Yeah. No,
so
that's true.
The whole thing they're famous for, like Miguel Aceves.
Yeah.
It's their voice, you know. So I understand that they just kind of throw him in the room. They're like, okay, sing this. And he sings it, and he sings it how he feels it. Yeah. It's his feeling. That's what people like him. He sings it con expresión,
Yeah.
But cuando es un músico, un mariachi that does this, that kind of throws me off a bit. Because when they sing, I'm trusting them, Sometimes I'm trusting them, like, I'm not, they're going to come in. And then they don't come in, and I'm like, shit,
So you're over here resetting yourself. You're like, shit, come on, dog.
Which, again, I'm not throwing shit. I'm just saying, this is what it's what I observe. It's what I'm thinking.
I mean, not even from just an armonía standpoint. I'm sure, like, trumpet players and violin players feel like this too, because I mean their runs or their specific parts sometimes depend on the voice coming in on some parts. So like
Right, but we usually come first, so I feel like they use that as.
Well, yeah, I guess. But what I'm saying is this is a sentiment that could be felt throughout the group. You know what I mean? Like when you come up to sing, you know, it's all about timing, right? I think everything that we're doing in this mariachi is about timing.
Yeah,
it's about timing and knowing when to come in, when to stop, when to cut off, when to start, how to play these specific rhythms the way that they go. Like all of that factors into the overall performance. But it's like you gotta know, you gotta practice.
Oh yeah, right,
right.
I'm
like, and that's why we're trash. Hace falta la práctica, you know. But yeah, anyway, how we got on that. So the guy was a pretty good singer. So he did a good job. He did a good job.
He did really good.
After that, we went to some gig in Garland, apparently. Garland. It was supposed to be a 1 hour or a 2 hour. I forget already. But se hizo más. The only thing that sucked is that they had this speaker. And they could not, like, get it right. So the whole time that thing, you know, like when you have feedback and that, like, really high-pitched, right, or whatever, that thing, like, was just blaring in my ear the whole time. Like, I don't know if you remember, like, I got, like, right next to you because I did not want to be next to the speaker anymore. Like, it was at the point that it was rattling my brain like a damn rattle, like, pinche cascabel, you know, like a rattlesnake. It was just feeling like that. Like, my brain was just shaking that much. I was like, dude, like this hurts, like this is pain, you know. Yeah. So I moved as far as I could from it, but like the way we were set up, it was pretty much impossible, you know. But that just like really threw me off, and I think really the time change of El Paso, even though it was just an hour, it really messed with me because I was feeling it by the end of the gig. I mean, we didn't finish too late there. ¿Hasta qué horas acabamos?
We finished pretty late. We finished like at 1:30.
Right, you're right. So yeah, so I mean, I was already kind of jet lagged, and then by the time we like finished, I was just out of it, man. I just wanted to go home, because I mean, we got there from El Paso, got home that night, and then that next morning, you know, went right back into it. Don Mike is like, now you know how it is, bitch, right? Don Mike. But yeah, man. How were you feeling after El Paso? You okay?
I was tired.
I was tired, dude. Like I didn't even eat water that night. Like I was just like, I'm gonna go home and sleep. You know, I don't even think I took a shower. I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna go. Yeah. You know, it felt great though. I finally get some sleep. I felt great about it. And I still feel great about it. But that was that week. That was barely last week. Should we talk about what we did this past weekend?
We can say the highlights because we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of time. We didn't do much, guys. I mean,
same old.
You know, it wasn't a long weekend either because the group gigged all that Friday, but we didn't have a chance to. I mean, I was working, so I couldn't do it. I only showed up to the planta. Oh, you weren't there,
right?
Yeah, you weren't there. You were at another affair, right? So they had another. There's someone in.
They had another me, right?
Well, it wasn't. It's like literally the opposite of you. Like you're tall and skinny, and he's short and chunky. So it's like literally complete opposite of you. You know. He came. His name's Joel. He used to play with the group. Actually, I think he had left the group, and then they brought me in to play guitarrón since he had left the group. Yeah, so it's funny. He was like the guitarrón player before me. But he came back to help us out since you weren't there. The planta was good. Hella people, man. Sometimes the boss of that restaurant says that place never gets packed. And I'm like, dude, you need to come out here because like every weekend it's packed. Because I told you I felt scared a little bit because when we got there, it was 8:00. It was like I got there like at 8:05, and they got there a little late because they had a gig beforehand. So I was one of the first ones there, and I was looking around like, bro, where's everybody at? You know? Yeah. And I just looked inside of the restaurant, and there was like no people. There's probably like 2 people outside. I'm like, bro, where is everybody? Like nobody's gonna come back or what? And dude, 20 minutes later, it just looked like damn jungle in there. Like every single seat was packed, every single table, there was somebody there. Those big tables too, like when they put together like 3 different tables and shit. Chingo de gente, you know. But it was chill. It was a good night. We played all night. I don't even remember, to be honest. He plays a little bit harder than you. I guess I could say that. So like the the bass mic was like Yahweh.
No.
It was like levitating. It was vibrating the speakers a little bit. I was like,
No, yeah, that guy's really good, man. He knows a lot of songs, like chingos.
well, yeah. I think there's only like 2 that I didn't know that he knew, and we just kind of went from there. He didn't know la de el grupo fantasma firme.
I'm like, lucky him.
Yeah, because I told him and he was like, which one's that one? I was like, I don't even know, dude. It's just some song that's playing on the radio right now, so everybody's like freaking going crazy with it.
Yeah.
So I just tried to tell him the chords. And it's funny because he does this thing when he fucks up, he just plays all the strings. He's like, all fucking loud. I'm like, really?
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff from him, like, because I used to play harp in the group that he was in.
Yeah, you guys play together.
Yeah, so a lot of stuff, a lot of bass lines I learned from him.
Well, I mean, you kind of had to follow him.
Yeah,
right,
that's
being
what I'm
on
saying,
harp,
which
yeah.
was pretty useful because that's how I learned a lot of songs too.
Yeah.
And like, cause yeah, Diane. Yeah, but
Next day, Sunday or Saturday. We had an early gig. We went to Centerville, Gainesville. Went to the cemetery. We've been to the cemetery before.
who the same people?
Apparently, yeah, same family, man. They had someone else pass away, young too, man. 18, something like that.
He had a little bit too much.
Yeah, these youngins, man. Take care of yourselves, guys. I know you guys are. Some of you guys are young. Some of you guys are old. You should know better too. Please, just take care of yourselves, man. Take care of yourselves and each other. But yeah, dude passed away. I think he was 18. We played 2 hours outside of this cemetery. Well, we played there like while they were burying him and stuff. So obviously those gigs aren't too fun. You know, they're not meant to be. You just kind of do your job. Now the only thing that did suck though is they put us like in el mero sol, which is expected most of the time in a cemetery. I mean, they have like the little tent that they usually have like the family under.
It didn't feel bad because it was fresh outside.
Yeah, it's because the time is changing here in Texas a little bit. It was actually getting a little bit cooler. It's actually starting to feel like fall now. Like this morning, I left to school with a long sleeve and a sweater because I was like, it's kind of like nippy in the morning. Nah, dude, para las 10 ya estaba caliente, and I was like, I took off all my shit. I was like, man, this is bullshit, dude. I wanted it to snow. And yeah, it felt nice that night or that day. You know, it's in the middle of the day. It's just that the sun's shining on you the whole time. And in the cemetery, to be honest, it's not like they're concerned about the mariachis. They're concerned about what's going on right there. You know, burying somebody. So they just kind of put us wherever. So we all got burned.
Yeah.
I mean, as you can tell. I don't think you can tell as much with me.
Well, you're still red, but I don't think it's because of the sun.
I'm always red, like in general. But like you're white. So once you get burned, you look like Mr. Krabs.
Doesn't last a long time, though.
It was a lot worse on Saturday, though, for sure. Because your sockets, like your eye sockets were white, but the rest was like red. And I told you look like, if you ever been to like La Michoacana or El Ranchito, where they have, you know, the marinated chicken or, you know, it just kind of has like that color once you cook it, right? It looks like that red. That's exactly what his face looked like. Not just you, though. Saul, too. He's a white boy.
Yeah.
So, like, you guys have like this white color, so the red just pops, you know. It just looks marinated.
Arturo's like, did I get burned? I'm like, sir, you have more melanin than us, you know, like.
Well, yeah, Arturo's a little bit darker than us.
So I'm trying to say.
Yeah. He's got like that nice Antonio Banderas kind of brown, you know. So like, he was like, "Did I get burned?" And I'm like, "Bro, you're already brown. Like you can't go anymore." You know. It's like if Paco was there. Paco's more seasoned than Arturo is, right? So he was like, if he were to get burned, I don't think he can. You're advanced dark, bro. Like, you can't go more, you know.
And like, you're already brown. It's like me and Saul are like las conchas, like blancas.
Las conchas de...
yeah, los panes.
Uh-huh.
And Arturo's
the white...
and Arturo's like los marranitos. You know?
The fucking brown.
Yeah. Little piglets.
Yeah. I was going to say like the brown concha, but then you said the marranitos. That is spot on, like their color, bro. Oh man, that's good, dude. That's good. And anyway, yeah. So we all got burned. I mean, 2 hours in the sun. It doesn't matter where you are. Like you're gonna get burned.
Yeah.
Just unprotected, not moving, not anything. But I didn't feel. The other thing too. I was telling you, I was like, bro, like my botas are hot.
yeah.
Like my so the my botas, the charol, that top layer of that. What is it, like plastic or what is it?
Charol.
Like rubber? What?
Yeah, it's like
It's like-
chapopote. I don't know.
It's like a type of rubber, so
Yeah.
like it's a heat conductor. So the sun hitting it the whole time, and I was standing on the street for a good while. Like it just like my feet were on fire. So I was just thinking like, damn, like this hurts. like it starts to hurt after a while. I mean, imagine like your feet are hot, and it reminds me too of all the funerals that I've always played with back then too. You know, you know how like when you're coming up and you finally start combing your hair, like when you're older, like when you're in high school, you're like, I should probably like do something about this, right? Because before that, I mean, you just wake up and go to school. But when you start caring about your appearance a little bit, like I remember I started experimenting with gels and stuff. Well, anyway, one time I played a gig and I think I was using it was like a pomade, but it was like a super cheap pomade that I had just like started using. And you know how I comb my hair, right? So like when I comb it, it's a little bit like standing up a little bit. I remember I played one where this pomade was specifically kind of oily or whatever. It was very liquidy, I guess you could say. Nah, dude, like my hair was like this in the beginning of the gig, and it was like this at the end, and like tenía chorros, weight, like coming down of pomade. So like when I would go like this, like in the middle of the gig, like to try to wipe it off, like all of this was just full of like greasy pomade, dude. It was so bad.
I tried pomade too, but it made me look like emo or something. Because it does that, like it makes my
It gives you a slick look.
My hair is wavy, so it was doing this. Because I come it to the side, so it was doing like.
Like a swoop?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I look like some anime character. I'm just like. I look like Bully Maguire.
I like that. Bully Maguire. Yeah. No, yeah, man. It's funerals a little rough sometimes. And then we had one last gig, which was in Oklahoma. we drove all the way to Oklahoma. Played 3 hours at this event. Wedding.
Yeah.
Groom was white.
I don't know.
Bride
was
Mexican.
Mexican, but
She spoke Spanish.
get.
Like she spoke Spanish.
Pa.
There you go, buddy.
What?
Back online. Like she spoke Spanish, so I would think.
Oh, did she?
Yeah,
I don't know.
she was talking Spanish with Don Luis and Arturo. I think.
Oh, I just remember they wanted us because those salons have like upstairs, right?
It's a nice salon. There's a lot of those where it has like a huge staircase leading up like to like an area where the groom and the bride kind of like hang out.
Yeah.
Right? So.
And they wanted us to walk from there behind them, like going down.
Down the stairs. Yeah.
And I don't know what it is, but I think it's vertigo, right? Where you look like you're not.
Vertigo?
Yeah, when you look down from like a certain height and you feel like that was like a. You know? Is that what it is?
I don't know I didn't know there was a word for it.
I think that's what it is. I don't know. But point is, I couldn't walk and play.
At the same time?
I usually can, but like I think it's because the stairs were steeper or something.
Well, because you were playing, but then we were playing La Negra, right?
Yeah.
So we're like, dun, 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 right? And they're all cheering and, going crazy for the bride and groom. And we're like walking behind them down the stairs. We were the ones at the end, right?
Yeah.
So when we're going down the stairs, I'm going one by one. And I notice that the guitarrón stops playing. So I look over at you. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? And you're like, you were holding you stopped playing.
No, I was grabbing the side.
But you stopped playing.
Yeah, I stopped playing because I was grabbing. I was like, es que no puedo ver.
You couldn't see the ground.
I have to like do this. But even then, I'm like, nah, I could feel it. It was that feeling when you ride the Titan on Six Flags before the fall.
The roller coaster.
Yeah.
Oh, like that.
Like,
feeling
like,
of like,
you're gonna fall.
Yeah.
You're just expecting it
like
to
it's coming.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had that feeling.
Okay.
It's like a tickle in your stomach, that type of feeling.
Yeah. Nah,
I was like, but
yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna risk it. Because if I fall, it's only for all of them, like at the bottom, like
that, the guitarrón's trashed, so it's not a good situation if you fall with that, down the stairs too, so So yeah, you were being real careful. So I noticed that, But no, other than that, a good 3-hour gig. Everybody, los güeros otra vez se fueron para afuera. I just, they don't understand.
Well,
I don't expect them.
They enjoy more of calm.
They like to talk.
Yeah.
Like during weddings, that's what they do. They talk. They talk about business. They like
that slow country and stuff in the background, just chilling.
And while they're having a conversation about like real estate.
Or stocks.
And like if you watch like most Mexicans, they'll just sit there in silence and watch, or they're like drinking a beer, or they're dancing. They usually have something else that they're doing. But like güeros like specifically go there to start talking. So like they all dipped to go outside, that half of the family, and then the rest of them stayed behind just to kind of watch. They were dancing. They liked the music. They were dancing to the cumbias and zapateados y todo eso. But it was a chill gig for being 3 hours. I guess.
Yeah. Se me fue el tiempo.
Yeah, it really did. It was chill, and I was just happy that they fed us at the end because I was a little hungry, and it actually pretty good. It was like carne de res.
Era birria.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, it was good. Because usually, to be honest, most weddings don't have good food, dude. And it's very sad when they don't.
I like the pasta. You can't never go wrong with
pasta.
Pasta. Yeah. Well, not at that gig. Not at that gig. But when they have pasta, it's usually good.
Oh, like salad, like ensalada? What?
I don't know about salad, but pasta.
No. Well, that's what my family calls, like, the pasta. They say ensalada, like, tecodos. The little... Yeah. With the mayo and the ham and
and then put some potatoes in there.
Potatoes.
Yeah,
we drove back from Oklahoma. Made it back. I was home early. I was home before 12.
Yeah.
I still fell asleep late.
Bro.
I'm just the fucking worst.
Nah, knocked out.
Did you get food at the end of the night?
Nah,
me neither.
I was tired.
Yeah, I was tired too. I was just happy I got there before 12. I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Because we went cross country. Or not cross country, but like we went to Gainesville and then went to Oklahoma, back to Denton all the way back to Fort Worth. So it was a lot of driving, but I was here before 12. I got a good night's sleep. We all made it home. And that's the good thing. Good night, good weekend, good money, good laughs. I don't know.
It was good.
It was good. Let's get into Charro Chat really, really, really quick.
Did they ask questions?
Some people did. Earn Crab 392 says, how often y'all change your strings? Oh man, that's a good question. I change mine's. I can't say definitively, how often I change them. Me as a vihuela player, I'll just talk about vihuela. With vihuela, a lot of people like to say that they run out of like they'll go through their strings is what they say. So that means that they kind of lose their sound, and that's something that actually does kind of happen. I'll have sets that last me like a whole month, and I'll have sets that'll last me like a week, and I'm already tired of them. So usually too, like I'll just give them like a week or a week and a half to like settle in. Like if I don't like the strings, I'll take them off. I think I've said it on here before, but if I feel like I don't sound like myself, and I know it's not the vihuela because I know what the vihuela should sound like, then I'm pretty sure it's the strings because I haven't changed. The vihuela hasn't changed, so it has to be the strings. So I'll end up changing my strings. I mean, so many times that I've told you, bro, like I have a bad set. Like this set is trash, and that just happens sometimes. So I mean, I change mine maybe like two, never more than 3 times a month, probably. I go through that many strings. And I mean, I have multiple vihuelas, so it's constantly going from one to another. And I like that because it, no nomás usas una, it kind of, you don't want to, no quieres gastar a una, so you kind of like hoe around with a bunch of them, and it kind of gives it a sense of a break. So like now I don't use this one every single week exclusively. Give it a break, use another one, and así nomás. But yeah, maybe like 2-3 times a month. You're a little different.
Well, yeah, it's a base. So for me, they last around a month, sometimes month and a half. Those silk strings are said to last twice that.
Okay.
But for me, they kind of last around the same.
That's based on your
my experience.
Experience with them. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this past couple of months, I've been going through a lot. I went through 2 packs. 'Cause I tried the JD Salazar's and I didn't like them.
You were experimenting, which is good to do too.
Yeah.
Like to experiment with strings to find your sound, or just to see if
There's something better.
something better or something that can at least hold up with, like, for any reason. I've done this too, like to have a second set in case I wanted to sound in case I want to sound a little bit different. Because this vihuela, I like the way it feels with these strings, but I may try some other strings to see if maybe those strings will sound good on here too. But usually I don't. Like, I got kind of used to how this one sounds, so I like to just keep that set
Well, a
of
while
strings.
back I found like a music page with like all these strings. I'm like, oh shit, all these exist. So, cause I'm like I'm a Guadalupe guy,
Yeah,
just
Guadalupe.
kind of buy Guadalupe strings all the time, and but I mean, guitarron strings are like $35 a pack.
Yeah, they're
around
not cheap.
there, right?
Yeah.
So even if they're not good, I try to like get my money's worth.
Yeah.
But like these JDs and what are the other ones?
You tried
the Darius?
The Darius.
Nah, it's not for me, dog.
But yeah, and that's what I mean too. Like, they may not have worked for him.
Yeah, that's what. Cause I do have a little thing where like I review these strings. She's like a little 1 through 10. And people ask me like, "Hey, how are they?" I'm like, "Well, it says there 4 out of 10." But like like you should try them yourself.
Yeah, you should
it's
always
different for every instrument. So I always tell them like, yeah, just try it out and let me know. Because for me they were trash, and I have 2 basses, so I have to do double the research. But yeah, for me it's usually like month and a half. That's how much it lasts. Because I also don't play them during the week. It's usually in the weekends. So I feel like that kind of extends the life.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think in the end you just kind of have to play with them yourself. Like, someone can tell you that they're good strings, and I've had people tell me that these are good strings or those are good strings. But realistically, you're not gonna find out until you put them on your instrument.
That's why I stopped asking people. If anything, I ask no es por puro morbo.
Just to like see what their experience was like.
Something like pura curiosidad,
Yeah, just out of curiosity.
But if you wanna find something, you just gotta do it yourself.
Yeah, experiment. That's the whole point.
But for me, I'm going back for Guadalupe for a while because I'm tired of experimenting.
Yeah, you get tired after a while. You're just like, okay, like let me just get some. Good.
I just wanna sound good for a good month, and I'll try again.
Yeah. Right here. Rogelio3 says, how can you learn songs on the spot if you are tone deaf? I don't know, because I've never been. Because tone deaf is like when you can't
tell. You can't tell between pitch, like at all. Like you can't tell whether something sounds right or wrong.
Because I've heard tone deaf in like the sense of when people are singing, and they'll like play a note on the piano, and you can't match that pitch because you're tone deaf. Like you don't know how to match that pitch.
Or when someone sings really bad, and then like the lady at the restaurant loves it. You ever seen that?
No.
Like someone just murders a song, and the lady's like, "Oh my god, that was lovely."
So she was tone deaf.
That's what I'm guessing. That's what I want. That's what I want to.
Maybe she just really liked how trash it was. Yeah, I guess if you're tone deaf and you can't distinguish pitch, I would just say learn like the keys. Because I mean, it's not like I have perfect pitch or anything. Like I don't really use. I guess I don't find the tones all that much. It's more about knowing my theory. So if they tell me that it's a ranchera en do or C, I know my primera is C, my segunda is G7, and my tercera is F, right? That's just based on, like, you don't have to hear that to know it. Like,
but how are you're gonna change if you can't hear the change? You know what I mean? That's who you're using your ear.
Fuck, you're right. Are you just screwed then if you're tone deaf?
I think you can work on it. Because every musician develops what's called relative pitch.
Right.
Which is because you don't have perfect pitch. Like Saul has perfect pitch, right?
Yeah, so you could just identify a note by hearing it.
Right.
Which I can't do that, but you and me, for the most part, can hear a chord or a key and be like, "This me." I've noticed either I'm right on or it's the second one.
Like yeah, I'll be like you're like flat or sharp.
Yeah, I'm like it's B flat, and they're like, yeah, B flat, good job. What about this one? I'm like G. They're like, no, actually it's F, and I'm like, oh, or whatever, right? And I'm like, damn, close. But yeah,
one thing that I think helped build relative pitch is if you sing as you practice.
Sing as you practice?
Yeah, like
what do you mean?
when I was in when I was in classical guitar, my teacher always said like, sing the part. And cause I mean that was an exercise for expression, right?
Okay.
Like you sing a part how you wanna play it.
Okay.
But it also helps you like, cause you're relating to the pitch. You're looking for the pitch to sing it too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So just focus on one pitch and then try to mimic it. You know, and I feel like that'll train your head to like.
That's it. That's a good way of
Develop it.
putting it, because that's how I kind of do it with not playing a melody instrument.
Yeah.
Like I don't play violin or trumpet, but I know the way it's supposed to sound and the
Yeah.
way like most people interpret it.
Cause you're
So-
exposed to it so much. So
Yeah.
just try that. You know.
Yeah.
As you practice, like, you know, you're playing guitarron. That I used to do that with students too. Like
Yeah.
just sing the part like bum 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 bum, right?
Bum. Yeah.
So just try that.
That, and I've noticed too, what has helped me a lot of the times is I don't know the lyrics, but I know how the lyrics go.
You know,
So,
the
like,
melody.
Yeah, I know the way. Yeah, exactly. Like the melody of the words. So like Laureles, for example. So that tells me that segunda, right? Go back up. So knowing the melody lines, you can kind of sing along. This goes back to what we were talking about when you can't hear the singers. Sometimes we're going off of that. We've played this song so much that if I can't hear the singer, I can maybe see his or hers mouth moving, and if I know how the words are supposed to sound, then I can kind of guess what they're doing based off of me watching. You know what I mean? Because I think mariachi and all of music, like you're not just using like your touch to play, not just using your ears. You can always use your eyes as well, like looking around and being self-aware of everything that's going on. Like that's kind of the thing that I'm trying to tell my students is like, yes, we can focus in on a piece of paper all we want, but once you take that piece of paper away, like what are you looking at? Now you have nothing to look at but everything else, right? So that's why like once you take the sheet of paper around, look at what everybody else is doing, not just your specific part. Like the whole point of a mariachi is to play it together. So like don't just zero in on what you're doing. Like look around, like take a look around for once.
Yeah.
Really know what's going on around you. This is a funny question. Emiliano Munoz 456 says, "Have you ever been heartbroken?" Yeah, no, just kidding. Yeah, I have been. I mean, I think you're supposed to.
I think I was there for your first heartbreak.
Yeah, I think everybody was. It wasn't a fun time. Don't remind me, bro. No, but I feel like it's supposed to happen at some point.
Yeah.
Because like you kind of grow from it. You know what I mean? Like
I think it's helpful. Well, it's a big eye opener because it teaches you, it teaches you that you're fine after.
It shows
You know what I
that
mean?
you can be completely fine. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
after like
It makes you realize it's not that deep.
it makes you feel like you're in a novela for sure. I know, or like in a movie.
I remember that. Yeah.
Cause like I remember like thinking back, I remember thinking like this is the end of my life,
Yeah.
bro. Like
I felt so bad.
you're just at home, like fucking. That's where like the original Draking came out. Like when you're just listening to sad music, you're just like, you know. And
I feel so bad because I remember that first day I made fun of you for it.
And I was like,
fuck.
Yeah.
I think it's because I thought.
I can't go into details, bro.
Yeah.
I have a wife now.
Right. Well, I just thought like he was kidding, you know, because he posted something. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's cool. And you walked in, I'm like, haha, look at you, fucking loser. You just
And
walked
I'm like-
away. Yeah, I'm like,
Casi chillando.
yeah, I'm like, what's wrong with this guy? And then later I find out like,
You're like, damn. I was like, bro, like, what if that was it, bro?
Yeah.
What if that was it right there for me, bro? No.
but yeah, it teaches you like it's not that deep, you know, like
Yeah, I guess I like to think about it like I felt like I had to go through that to realize where I'm at now. You know what I mean? Like, you look at it and you're like, maybe this was supposed to happen. And then you look at, I look at my life now and I'm like,
you're fine.
if I go back to that, would I go through it if I knew, you know, I'm where I'm at now? Like, I feel like I was supposed to. Like, I would go through it again because it's supposed to. Like, that's kind of the way life works. Once it happens, all you can do is you can just kind of move on from it. And eventually you realize, like, it really wasn't the end of the world. Like, why was I crying? Why was I
It happens
draking
because
about
more
it?
than likely, like when you're little, you just kind of like
You're
not
it's your
thinking-
whole world.
you're not thinking long term. You just think she's cute,
Right
or,
here,
like,
right
you
now.
Just think,
Yeah.
or you know you're you're just developing. You know.
Yeah.
You have like your needs or whatever.
It's because you really think that at 16, 17, 18,
sometimes,
you know everything,
Yeah.
and this is the rest of your life,
Yeah.
right? But a lot of the times we don't realize like we're gonna have new experiences. We're gonna meet new people. We're gonna have like
Yeah.
completely. I mean, I moved away. I moved to San Marcos. I met a bunch of people there. I ended up marrying someone from my high school. But but I mean, like in general, you start opening up and you realize like in the grand scheme of things, there's so much more to this. So like I think you're supposed to go through heartbreak. It kind of humbles you in some ways too, because you're like, now I know what I shouldn't do. In some ways, now you start thinking like, okay, maybe that was supposed to happen, and now I can just focus on myself, and then just chill for the rest of it. That's kind of how I looked at it. After a while, I stopped hurting, and then everything was good.
I just think like, damn, I was a bitch.
I don't remember you going through heartbreak.
I don't think you were there for that.
Was I already in college?
I think so.
Damn, I should have made fun of you then.
You did?
I did.
Well, not for that, but you were like, at least my teeth are straight. I'm like, that's fair.
Hey, I can't say that now.
Well, yeah.
New teeth, new me.
I remember you tweeted at me that. I'm like, damn. Like,
You got me there.
What do I say now?
You got me there.
I'm like, that's fair. But yeah,
That's
like,
funny.
because after that, I mean, you haven't, but I've gone through more breakups after that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, pues ni modo. Like, I don't think I've ever been like at a point where where I'm like,
Where you're like,
todo aguitado, like,
no mata.
like in
no
the
matter
van or something, like you're super sad. I'm never like trying to make you guys feel like, damn, like, can you guys give me a hug,
Yeah,
like,
that's another thing too. Like, you can't like bring other people down.
Yeah.
Like, and I realized I was kind of like that in the beginning. I was like over here all down.
Which is a normal thing. Like for our first breakup, you have this feeling that you never felt as deep before.
You really haven't. Yeah.
But then you realize it wasn't that deep. That's what I'm always saying,
It's not that deep.
So now when I've gone through that, I'm like, pues ni modo, life goes on. Like,
yeah, eventually, yeah.
Like, you just, like for me, I just kind of like live my life until like I found someone else.
Yeah.
And I did, you know?
Yeah.
So that's just kind of like what happens.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just part of life. If you've gone through it, or if you have or you haven't gone through it, you just realize it's part of life. Everybody kind of goes through some shit sometimes. But it's how you recover from it. And then, just move on. I mean, even if you find someone or not, like, you're chilling, bro. Like, you have the rest of your life, bro. Like, literally the rest of your damn life to figure this out.
You gotta see it as like, not that you're free now, but you can go out and meet someone else,
Yeah, like you have this.
Not even romantically. It's just like
you have this opportunity. To do something else.
Like you're not. Fuck. Okay, I'm not saying you're tied down, but you don't have to worry about anyone else. It's just you.
Yourself.
And that's what I did for a while. So I just threw myself in there, you know, and I met all these people and I did all these things.
Yeah. No, it's because everybody is inherently selfish. Like, we all have to care about ourselves at some point. So, like, care about yourself before you start caring about someone else. And then once you feel like you're good, that's when you can let someone in and actually,
That's right. Psychological egoism. It means you're selfish, like, no matter what.
Yeah, you're selfish. I mean, your first thought, if we're all drowned, like on the Titanic, where Rose and Jack, like, my first thought is like, Rose, like, you gotta go, like, instinctively, like,
But even that's egotistical. Because you want them to be better, so it makes you feel better. You're doing it for yourself in the end.
See, now you just made it worse. Now I'm like, I don't know what nos moremos los dos. Sorry, we're both going down. Nacimos para morir, cabrón.
Yeah, pretty much. Do the next question. Right.
We're going to get all deep. I'm over here like...
I know. I'm like,
okay. These are confessions. We used the Cop Light app to get through traffic because we were running late to a gig and it worked. That's kind of smart until an actual cop.
Until another cop is like, wait a minute, like a white van.
A white van has a Cop Light. And it's like, did we just get those at the bureau?
It's like, does not compute.
Yeah. It's all fun and games until you get like, arrested for impersonation of a cop, and that's a serious offense. So I would say, cool, but just
I'm
be
like,
careful.
Just milk it, bro. Hasta que te den.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, if it worked, I guess. I mean, is a gig worth 25 years to life in prison? And
Well,
they're like,
I want to say
yes.
this was in Mexico.
Maybe, but even then, you get pulled over. That happens. Like, was it worth it, bro?
Yeah, 10 pesos, like, no pasa nada.
Like, if the clients are still gonna te van a marear como quiera, like,
Right.
like, was it worth it? Like, oh man. This person says, "How do y'all deal with creepy customers? I had a creepy old guy follow me everywhere." If you're a guy or girl, because there are girl creeps too, man. I would just say like,
I'm like, there is that, but then I'm like, oh yeah, there is.
no, yeah, it goes both ways, man. Like, there are some people that really just don't know how to act like at a gig, and I mean like the customers. I mean, even the charro sometimes, but I'm saying like the customers. This question is about dealing with creepy people. I don't stand like by myself like after the gig too. Like I don't like to just chill by myself. I like to be in a crowd. I'd rather do that. And I feel like even when there's a girl in the group too, like I feel like the guys should also know that the girl is more exposed than the guys are. You know what I mean? Like as far as to like men out there. So I like to think that they should stay close to us or we should be close to them just to always be there. Because I feel like guys or like creeps out there are more intimidated when there's guys around. I feel like they when they're creeps, they're creeps. They don't care, you know what I mean? But when there's a guy there, I mean, this happened at Burros with that one guy that was always creepy. He hasn't come back. That one dude? ¿Te acuerdas?
El Speedy Gonzalez?
Why do you call him Speedy Gonzalez?
Because he has that face. Yeah, it
Oh, he does. He does
Yeah.
kind of have a face like that. Yeah, that weird creepy guy that used to come to Burros, he used to always come up like to girls and stuff. But usually when like a guy would stand, like that's when he would kind of like back off a little bit. So I would just say like if you're a girl, stay with the guy. I'm not an expert, but I'm saying usually when there's a guy next to him, creeps kind of back off a little bit. And the other thing too, like I've said shit before when like they talk to girls like that. I've said it before too. I'm like, dude, like what? Like, what do you want? What do you want here? So I think it's also up to the guys to like step up. I mean, even if it was a girl, getting to a guy, same thing. Like, what are you gonna do? You gotta help out sometimes when people need help. So as far as dealing with them, just always be aware. Always be aware of your surroundings. At the end of the day, you're a musician, so you know how you should be treated and respected. So just do your best to make sure that it is always like that. That's as much as I can say, I guess, about that.
I would just say, like, don't be afraid to be, like, straight up,
Also, yeah.
Like, 'cause for the most part, or at least here, like, if you get in trouble, like, in something like that, like I'm pretty sure we'll have your back.
Yeah.
Like, and, like, we see it, too, like,
yeah.
like, especially the guys, well, girls, too. Like, no la despistan when they're being creeps,
Yeah.
They usually, you even see them con la intención before.
Yeah, and as a guy, we're kind of programmed to see that. Because
Yeah.
I noticed that I'll just be looking around, and I can see when a guy has, like, those thoughts.
Yeah.
And I...
Because they're looking at the girl, and they're like...
Yeah, and it's
essentially,
like... Dude, like, no mames.
Yeah.
But we're kind of programmed like that, especially because, like, for example, like, my sister has come to the restaurant, and I've seen that. And guys just, like, looking over there, and I'm like, dude, like, chill, bro. Yeah, like, don't make it so obvious, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that we see it, that just kind of tells us, all right, dude, like, just watch out for this guy or whatever, And that's just kind of how I feel like it should be.
Man, you shouldn't be afraid. Or at least you can be, like, passive-aggressive, I guess. You can be like, hey, mucho gusto, I gotta go. Tell them, like, end the conversation in a way that they know that they can't talk to you anymore.
Yeah.
And then just come hang out with us, you
yeah.
know. And if not, but I mean, like I said, like, we're there,
Yeah,
like,
we're always going to be there.
We're not going to let you, like, get, like, harassed by some dude, you know?
If you have good guys or even girls in your group, they will not let you get harassed. Like, that's really, we're all a group, and we're all there to do our job and, to have fun, do our job and do it efficiently. If anybody gets in the way of that, I mean, se arman los putazos,
Yeah.
But, I mean, as far as that, like, everybody pretty much as a mariachi should have each other's back, and that's really what makes you guys a group, have each other's back.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is a long one, dude. We need to shut the hell up. All right, so yeah.
Oh.
So guys, this has been episode 63 of CharroBeans podcast. We appreciate you guys. coming here, listening to us. A little bit of more of a normal episode. I just wanted to say I restocked the stuff on charrobeanspodcast.com. New sweaters, new colors are there. I also made a 3/4 shirt. It's like a baseball tee kind of shirt. There's just new things on charrobeanspodcast.com. So if you want to support, long sleeves are there again. Hoodies are up on there again for the cold season. So if you guys want some cool shit, check it out.
Oh, yeah. I think I'm gonna get something.
Yeah, for sure, because it's about to get cold, and if you don't got a nice hoodie, and to be honest, the hoodies feel like the Nike ones.
Yeah, the hoodies are really good.
It just doesn't say Nike. It says CharroBeans, but they're like good quality shit. Like I'm not even fronting. Like I have one, and then he has one, and I'm like, dude, this shit feels tight. Like I love my sweater. Anyway, get some stuff. Support the cause. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Rate us on Apple Podcasts if you can, and I think that's it.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Love you.
We'll see you guys next week. Appreciate you. That's like my ending.
Shit hurt.
Oh, really? Like the baby from.
Yeah, look at the fucking spike on that shit. No,